That was sort of the consensus yesterday, and Jeff has made his way over here from the coffee corner. And RC is up with us early this morning, and D Wood, we're having a little trouble getting him up, but Damian Wood will be with us shortly as well. But let us start quickly there. We did a lot of connecting of the dots yesterday, just essentially assuming that if A, OBJ is going to Baltimore, right. B, he and Lamar Jackson are posting screenshots of the two of them talking happy about being together, that C, he must know Lamar is playing there, even if the Ravens don't know Lamar is playing there. Are we going off the reservation?
Not at all. Very fair to connect those dots. I'll take it a step further. On Sunday night, they had dinner together at Prime 112 in Miami. Then they went and partied the night away at Live at Fountain Blue. Ryan Clark knows all about that. But these two guys are not only
I'm
just
grown and married. Don't put me in that.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, fair enough. Look, you're one better than me, RC. At least you know what it is. I was just nodding as though I knew what he was talking about.
I was waiting for Ryan to interrupt.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, this is very clearly connected. This is not mere coincidence. The question, of course, is what the conversation between Odell and Lamar is. Is it, hey, Lamar tells Odell, I'm going to get you paid. I'm going to get you $15 million guaranteed so that you can get there, but I can't make any promises that I'm going to be there. Very possible, but it feels much more likely that Lamar is saying that this is the guy I need. The Ravens are essentially saying, hey, if we're not going to give you the ring, we can at least shower you with gifts. And I think that that's what we're looking at here. This is a very good sign if you are a fan of the Baltimore Ravens. We are now at least in the space where it feels like Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are playing ball with each other. I think this is a great sign for both sides.
RC, help me with this, because it did feel when I was looking at that screenshot that Lamar posted, it's worth reminding everybody, that wasn't from OBJ's Instagram. That was from Lamar's Instagram that he posted that screenshot of the two of them. That's Lamar's feed that we're looking at there. So that seems to me, RC, like he's sort of saying, look who we got. And yet, inherent in that is that he's calling the Ravens we. Now, 2 weeks ago, he said goodbye to the city of Baltimore and the fans of the Ravens. So I'm having a little trouble putting those together, RC. Help me.
You know what? It's hard to be for the streets when the streets don't really want you like that. I mean, if you're Lamar Jackson and you're a former MVP, you're a guy that's done nothing but win in this league, you would think if the market opened up for you at least to have conversations with teams that the market would heat up, that your phone would ring, that people would be sending you up text messages. But it hasn't seemed that that's been the case for Lamar. It's actually been the opposite. Teams coming out and saying publicly that they are not in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. And so now it's about what can I build in Baltimore? And if I have a little bit of a thought about the phone call between Lamar and Odell Beckham Jr., I'm pretty sure that that phone call took place before Odell Beckham decided to become a Baltimore Raven, that he understood who was going to be playing quarterback for that team. And it probably went something like, hey, I'll go to Baltimore if you're the quarterback. And the quarterback probably said, well, if you'll be in Baltimore, I'll be there to throw you the football. And so we have it. We, as in the Baltimore Ravens, now have Odell Beckham Jr. and probably their quarterback Lamar Jackson, at least for this year.
All right, let me pin you down there, RC, because I just want to make sure that I'm understanding fully what you're saying. The fact that this has happened, does this suggest to you that Lamar Jackson now believes himself that he is one way or another going to play in Baltimore this year?
I believe he does. I believe he does. Listen, I'm not saying this from any conversation I've had with Lamar Jackson or his people. What I'm saying is, if you are posting the conversation with Odell Beckham Jr., right. I know Odell good enough and well enough to know that the Jets became a thing because of Aaron Rodgers. I know that the Los Angeles Rams were a thing because of Matthew Stafford, and he played with the Baker Mayfield and played with the quarterbacks in Cleveland that didn't allow him to be his best self. He's not going to put himself in another situation like that, no matter what the money is. The New York Jets were taking a while to get Odell Beckham Jr. signed. There's some uncertainty with what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. There's certainty now to me with the Baltimore Ravens is saying, I'm not going to call John Harbaugh. I'm not going to call Todd Monken. I'm not going to talk to anybody. So I'm not going to talk to DeCosta to tell me that Lamar Jackson's going to be there. I'm going to speak to Lamar himself. And if Lamar can give me that okay, if Lamar can say, yes, I will be there in the fall, then I'll be a part of that team. And I believe that's what happened with those two. So I expect to see 3 and 8 on the field together this fall.
And it's not just about Lamar. It is a lot about Lamar, but you don't, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you don't pay $15 million for Odell Beckham Jr. for no reason, especially when you have uncertainty at the quarterback position. Something is happening behind the scenes, and it is very reasonable for all of us to sit here and assume at this point that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are making progress.
Fair. I agree. And that is sort of we took the circumstantial evidence of that yesterday and we put that together. And I'm told we do have D. Wood ready to go now. We had a little trouble getting his feed together. There he is, D. Wood from his palatial estate in New Jersey. I'll be with him in a second, but let me throw a quick question over here at you, Mr. Insider. And that is this. I hold in my hand Mel Kiper's mock draft, which we will get to a little bit later in this hour. And I know from having gone through the exercise with all the draft people last week, there's going to be a team that comes out of this without getting the quarterback they want. Right. Someone in the NFL is not going to get the quarterback that they want in 2 weeks. Is there an expectation around the league that maybe Lamar's phone rings then, that if Indianapolis, Tennessee, someone like that doesn't wind up getting a quarterback that they really want, that he could still have something out there that he hasn't had so far?
Expectation is too strong of a word. Maybe a last glimmer of hope for Lamar Jackson that a team like Indianapolis doesn't get the quarterback that they want.
Right.
And they would be the team to give up. They'd trade out of it, get 2 1s, and trade for Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Sure, maybe that's a possibility. But if fifths were fifths, we'd all be drunk.
No, I get it. But, I mean, it actually feels like more than a possibility. Shefty is reporting that the whole league is trying to trade up to 3 in front of them to Arizona. Someone is going to take a quarterback at 3, and someone sitting at 4 is going to wind up without one of the 3 that everybody seems to like.
Greeny, like I told you yesterday, it's a wrap in my mind because Ryan RC knows that players talk. We talk behind the scenes, regardless of the relationship between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Odell Beckham Jr. is not making this move unless he knows that Lamar Jackson is going to be there. So he even posted on his social media the conversation. So for me, it's a wrap. I'm expecting Lamar Jackson and Odell Beckham Jr. to be making plays come fall.
All right, excellent. We've got D. Wood ready to go. The crew is fired up. We got a big day, as I mentioned, as we continue here in this hour. We got a really good show coming your way, and I think there is a really good chance it does. It would be history. There have never been 4 straight quarterbacks off the board to start the NFL draft. In fact, never have 4 have gone in the top 5 picks. Some of the other interesting ones on your screen there, you see Jalen Carter out of Georgia rounding out the top 5, Will Anderson falling to Detroit at number 6, and some of the other names that you know there. By the way, as I bring Mel into the conversation, he also does have Hendon Hooker going late in round 1, one of those teams trading in at the back end of the round to take a quarterback, and so Hooker going number 30 in the mock draft that Mel just put up. So Mel, let's talk about the very top here. It has been back and forth with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young for the last several weeks. Why do you now believe it will be Young who goes 1 overall?
Just the decision-making, Greeny, and the fact that this past year he didn't have that elite supporting cast, that he put up the numbers, he dealt with the injury, played through it, and only missed the 1 game. And I think people just look at him as a guy who has the it factor. He's a winner. He's got that sparkle, and a guy that Carolina, I think, can move forward with. They have the infrastructure there in place with the O-line, the supporting cast, all those coaches that'll be around surrounding the quarterback. I think Bryce Young, I think, would be the guy that at this stage of where we are in the process. And I listen to Adam and Mort. Adam and Mort have been saying it's going to be Bryce Young. So as I always say, Greeny, I had the smartest guy out there, but I have some common sense. I'd be an idiot if I didn't listen to Mort and Adam when you're hearing Bryce Young could go number 1 from even your friends in the league. So it's Bryce Young for me right now.
And then Anthony Richardson continues to be the player slotted into that number 3. And we also had Adam, as you mentioned, and Jeff Darlington will jump in on this in a minute as well, talking about so many teams looking to go up to Arizona's spot at 3. Let's talk about that, how that impacts the Colts. Because if Indy, look, they've been quarterback desperate for a very long time there. And if there was one team I was positive was going to come out of this thing with a quarterback, it would be the Colts. So you right now see them staying where they are and taking Will Levis rather than being one of the team that makes that aggressive move up.
Yes, and remember, if you make that move up, you have to give up pick, and then that's something that I think they would really say is that's a critical part of the building process for this football team. And certainly when you look at where they are in terms of Will Levis, hey, it's a volatile situation. You think about it in terms of the mock first. You got some people thinking he's going to drop into the 20s, into the teens. Somebody's going to trade up to get him. That, of course, happened with Josh Allen, happened with Justin Fields. They slid, and somebody moved up to get them. My thing would be, who's going to move up to get Will Levis? I didn't want to project another trade that way because it distorts the first round. Then I heard the Colts can sit there and take him. They want to go young over the veteran at the end of the career. So as you say, since Andrew Luck retired, they haven't had good luck in that way. So Luck retires, no good luck after that. And now you can pick your guy if you feel Levis is worthy of being the 4th pick overall. I do. Some people don't. We'll see what the Colts think, like I say, in a few weeks.
For those who don't follow these mocks and everything else, and Mel's insight throughout the process, I mean, you have been very high on Will Levis from the very beginning of all this. And then let me quickly touch on the 5th quarterback here. We just saw Hendon Hooker in that little clip there with Peyton Manning and some of the rest of it. You believe he will round out the class in round 1, that we will see 5 quarterbacks go round 1 and Hooker will be the 5th?
This is where rankings and mocks are hard, Grinny, because I look at Hendon Hooker, I see a late 2nd, early 3rd round pick, but talk to people in the league and they say, well, Hooker could get into the late 1st round, and that would be for a team trading up, that 5th-year option. Hendon Hooker had a heck of a 2 years at Tennessee. Now, he had the ACL, but when you look at the system, Josh Heupel's offense, so quarterback-friendly, that really assists the quarterback there. There's some things he needs to work on to transition into the NFL effectively, but certainly at Seattle, he would have time with Geno Smith there.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.